Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of IF in Love Cinema. But today we're going to be taking a break from cinema to talk about television, specifically Danish television, and even more specifically, Lars Von Trier's apparently like long running paranormal hospital drama, The Kingdom. So I saw the first season, the first four episodes is on Mubi, which is slowly becoming my all-time favorite streaming service. Yeah, and this is the first season, which I think came out like in the mid to late '90s, over in Denmark. And this is God, how do I even describe this? So it's your typical sort of like hospital drama, right? Like you have doctors that are sleeping with each other. You have like politics between departments. You have your doctor who teaches pathology and all that stuff. It's if you've seen the just your basic day to day fucking hospital drama, you've seen half of this show. And what's great is that like Lars von Trier, being Lars von Trier, takes those tropes and does some real Lars von Trier shit with them. I mean, there's an entire romantic subplot that begins with a beheading prank gone wrong. All right, like that's just like one of the little dramas here that is going on. There is a whole thing where one of the administrators is doing something called Operation Morning Air, which has this just hilarious payoff that leads to the hospital being potentially shut down. It's a wild and wacky show. Lars von Trier is having a ton of fun, kind of playing with those dramatic tropes. And this is like Lars von Trier, like all over. What's interesting is that the opening of each episode is this very clearly Tarkovsky inspired opening sequence. And if you watch a lot of early Lars von Trier movies, The Element of Crime, Europa, you see this. You see that sort of sepia toned, like very meticulous camera compositions and movements, and it is totally Tarkovsky. Lars von Trier said over and over again that Tarkovsky is his hero, and you could totally see it here. So I mean, you totally start you start off with that, and I'm sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought here, but no, this is Lars von Trier all over, not just in that, but okay, I can't remember now. So you get that style, you get that old, meticulous, beautifully shot, beautifully composed, and very slow core shit. At every episode, but it's also like the handheld, chaotic, like I don't give a fuck about continuity shit that you see in his latter day in his sort of second phase of his work. He eventually kind of comes back, in his more recent films to marry the two. But what's interesting is that this show in his career kind of marks the transition. At least as far as I know, I could be wrong about that, but you definitely see that sort of Lars von Trier jump cut, like fuck continuity, that sort of style all throughout. And that does the typical Lars von Trier effect where you never feel steadied, you never feel safe, you never feel secure in a scene because nothing is conventional. And you just you're focused within the story, but you're brought to so many different places because of the crazy camera work and all that, and it all takes on this vibe. And okay, so now I'm just talking about Lars von Trier style at this point. This isn't a Lars von Trier video essay, right? But what I'm getting at is that there is so much of what makes him like such a freak. It's just, I guess, just such a freak, right? Like in all the best ways, by the way. Like especially like the final episode, it's just so like it is as shocking and horrifying as it is downright hilarious. Like there is an entire arc that is just pure comedy, and it contrasts that with like horrific violence and like terror and like really depressing drama. And none of this should work within a movie. None of this should work within a 2-hour movie. All these tones should not be combining well. But Lars Von Trier pulls it off within like I think like 70 minutes of TV. He's able to just like cobble all this shit together and make it work. Um, and then what's interesting about this, and what's even more interesting, again, if you know more about Lars Von Trier as a filmmaker and as a person, is that there is this sort of he grew up in a very religious household, right? But he's he has he has a complicated relationship with his spirituality, and this show is very much, contrasting the rational science side, with the doctor drama and stuff like that. But the other half of the show is this spiritual journey. Sometimes a horror film, like there are horror aspects of this entire series, by the way, and a lot of that is within the sort of spirituality that is explored with this show, and you see that here sort of take front and center. And what I really liked about it is that, and kind of speaking about the sort of spirituality and rationality thing, is that this kind of reminds me of Lost in a great way, in a good way. First of all, there's only 3 seasons and like 12 episodes. This is like UK TV. They're very, if you know about UK TV, you know. Um, so yeah, it feels a lot more focused. It feels like there is something that is building for towards, and we find that out within like 8, 12 episodes. So, you know, that's the one thing that kind of ruined Lost, is that it really feels, that show went on way past the point that it should have. This show kind of feels like Lost, where it has that sort of intrigue, that mystery box, like fun aspect to it. But it's made by Lars Von Trier, so it's fucking insane, and I love that. I love that about Lars Von Trier movies. They're nuts. Like, there's just casual use of like real surgery footage, and there oh my god, like the final shots of this season are bonkers, just absolute in the best way, I really enjoyed this show. It's a very enjoyable, like, it's not easy to watch because it is Lars Von Trier. But as far as Lars Von Trier goes, I think this is like the most accessible thing he's done outside of his comedies. Um, God, what is an well, I guess we know now it's the Kingdom, because it is television, right? So he was reined in a little bit, but I really like the way that the sort of the dual themes and the story unfolds, as it explores this sort of eternal struggle. I really like the super grainy. I wouldn't be surprised if they did, what they if like what they did with Breaking the Waves started here, because for those who don't know, Breaking the Waves was shot on video, transferred and blown up to 35 millimeter, and then converted back to video. And it has this very uniquely digital but grainy look. This like mix between analog and digital that would also fit the themes of the show very well. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's here, but it has a very unique look, has a very unique tone. It's like I said, it's fucking bonkers. And if you like that sort of unhinged intensity that Lars Von Trier brings to the table, I can't recommend this enough. I really can. This is great for Lars Von Trier fans. This is great for people who are curious about Lars Von Trier. And overall, it's just a great show that I can't wait to keep watching. And this is only the first season. And the first season is probably like the most normal, I have to guess, because it's like slowly leading up to the fact that shit's crazy here. So like the final episode is just the fucking dam bursting open on the insanity. And now that I know how crazy this show is planning on going, I can't wait to see where they go. Like, it's gonna be a great time. So if you've seen The Kingdom, or if you're a Lars Von Trier fan, let's talk in the comments. I'll be back for season 2 and season 3 Exodus. Until then, I've been Ed. You guys have been awesome. Thank you for watching. Hit like and subscribe. Peace.